Hello, my name is Dr. Amber Archuleta Lucero, and I'd like to welcome you to EPCC Talks. You will be hearing a previously recorded podcast with then Student Government President Bryan Mena that was recorded in December of 2018. One of the things that we've tried to capture with this podcast is the student narrative. The student narrative being their academic and social journey through the trajectory at El Paso Community College. We are hoping that you enjoy listening to some of the incredible details of Bryan Mena's life. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy. My name is Dr. Amber Archuleta Lucero, and I'm a faculty member at El Paso Community College, teaching in government. I have been with the community college, I want to say since 2008, as an adjunct and as a full-time individual 2016. So welcome to all of you. I'm very excited. This is our very first podcast, and I'm excited to have all of you and talk with all of you. I wanted an opportunity to briefly introduce ourselves, and then we'll talk a little bit about the objectives, and then we'll get to what we need to in terms of looking at the very important student narratives. So, Claudia.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for sharing this time and this space. This is our first one, so I appreciate this to everybody here. Well, my name is Claudia Chacon. I've been working for El Paso Community College for a long time. I think I'm past 15 years, the 15-year mark. Many years served as a part-time, and then lecturer, and then part-time, then finally in tenure track. Thank God. It's been several ups and downs. A lot of ups, which is great. Like, this is an up for me, obviously. I thank Dr. Archuleta for inviting me for part of this family, this new family that she has created. So I'm looking forward to learn more of everybody that's contributing to this podcast. Thank you.
Bryan.
Hi, well, good morning. It is my pleasure to be here. My name is Bryan Mena, and I'm the Student Government Association President here at EPCC. I started in fall 2016, and I'm studying accounting, business, and economics. I never thought I would end up at EPCC. It's been a roller coaster of a life, and but overall, I'm very happy where I'm at right now. I have a good momentum in my life, and I'm really looking forward to what's happening next. And so, very excited to be here, and I'm very excited to talk about my story. Thank you.
We're glad to have you.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning,
My
Gisselle.
name is Gisselle Cabrales Chavira. I'm now a graduate from EPCC.
Yes.
I have been in college for 3 years since I came here in the fall 2015. Coming from Mexico, it has been a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thanks for inviting me. And this is something very special for me, being now here and sharing my story with all of you.
No, I'm glad you're here. So we're just excited, and we hope that this is the first of many podcasts. Really, the goal, as I talked to all of you, was to create I think Claudia used the wonderful word, a space where we can talk and really archive and capture student narratives. So that's the first goal. There's 4 objectives to this podcast, not this particular one, but in the future. But today's objective is to create a way with which to archive student narratives and the rich student narratives. Bryan just talked about this roller coaster of a wonderful life that he's had, and I want to hear about that. And Gisselle's journey, I was her professor, and we've developed a very strong friendship. So I'm excited about hearing about her journey from Mexico to EPCC graduation and now nursing school. So that's the first thing, but there's other objectives that we talked about, Claudia, that we wanted to focus on for the podcast.
Right. First of all, there's several people that contributed to this dream. Of course, we have to thank Dr. Archuleta, who spearheaded this project. But we will not be here for other people, other departments. So we have to thank the student success department. Of course, we know that without the student, we wouldn't be here. We also have the students with disability. We also like to thank our dean, Susana Rodarte, Dean of Social Science. And thank you to Vice President of Information Technology, Dr. Giron. She made this happen. So amongst other people that I'm probably forgetting. So thank you to all, even the individuals that are here. They always contribute. Thank you.
So what I think is important about, what Professor Chacon just said is that we wanted to highlight particular offices within EPCC. They play a crucial role. We know this. Whether it's faculty members going to a particular office, whether it's students that need to engage with that office, they create this environment and this I think, wonderful way with which they can help students with a smile on their faces every day. So that was the second objective is to look at those offices, highlight particular offices. And then the third objective, we wanted to focus a little bit on looking at particular people.
Yes, so we're all a community here at El Paso Community College. It's important to capture the ongoing conversations with faculty, staff, and administrators who assist student trajectories. Some of them being student engagement, student success, transferring to a four-year university or getting into the workforce. And so it's important to understand this cohesiveness within the institution. And I'm excited to talk about that too.
And I know that even with we talked about, highlighting departments, in departments, people get lost, but there's individual people within those departments as well that of course we want to look at. I know all of us have had significant people in our lives that we can name who've helped us. So I wanted to do that, look at staff, faculty and administrators who always help move individuals from point A to point B. The last and fourth thing, of course, that I talked to Bryan and Claudia about was ongoing conversations with students about current events. One of the things that I do in my own classroom is I attempt to engage students through current events. All of us are paying attention to things. Gisselle is informed. I've talked to Claudia about it ongoing, and Bryan and I have been to several events. So this opportunity to look at hot button issues, current events, and get the student perspective. What I'd like to do, as I mentioned maybe in my proposal, is to actually go to the campuses and talk with students in their own spaces. Being in an environment like this is wonderful, but it can be also a little clinical and a little sterile. So I wanted to get out of this environment and talk to students about current events, the things that affect them, the things that impact them, and the things that make their life better. In relation to all of what we're doing here. So that was really the fourfold goal. As it relates to the first goal, though, I wanted to talk to Bryan today and Gisselle today about their own narrative and their own journey as it relates to getting to EPCC, some of the things that have kept you at EPCC. You are student government president. You have an awesome opportunity as well as an awesome voice in helping students on an everyday basis. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. Mostly I wanted to look at your own personal journey, though. Even though you're student government president, there's lots of things that you do in that role. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the human element, Bryan. And Claudia and I just wanted to kind of capture that with you in terms of, some of the things that got you to EPCC. You mentioned the roller coaster of a journey, and I wanted to just maybe highlight some of those things. So let me start off with this, and I know Claudia will interject. What, in terms of how you got to EPCC and your own personal journey, can you talk to me a little bit about that? Did your parents go to school? Did your grandparents go to school? Are you the first, or are you the second, third in terms of coming to college?
Yes. So both my parents are from Mexico. My mom is from Puebla, and my dad is from Ciudad Juarez. And so they ended up just getting married, and they ended up migrating to the United States. And so I am a first-generation American, and I'm very grateful for the journey that they took to ensure that I was born here, and that I was able to grow up here, and I was able to go to public school here, and that I ended up at El Paso Community College. I had a easy childhood, but I guess when I got to high school, I got bullied, and I was depressed. I had anxiety. And so I wasn't very focused in high school. I only cared about passing. I wasn't involved at all. And so I was also very suicidal. And so, lo and behold, I wanted to join the military. And so that to me seemed like my only route, joining the military, because I wasn't good at school. I never saw talent in myself. And so as I was going to join the military, they rejected me because I had self-harm scars. They saw it as self-mutilation. So at that point, I was like, well, what am I good for? I'm not good at school. I can't join the military. I was so close to just giving up. And, But eventually my mom convinced me to go to El Paso Community College. And so that to me was the beginning for me. My time at El Paso Community College was my time to redeem myself. So I thought, well, let me just make the best out of it. Let me just try hard in school. And then I saw that I got all A's for my first semester, and that kind of motivated me. I was like, okay, I can do this. And I wanted to get involved. So I joined the student organization. I became the president for that club. And I just kept getting more and more inspired and more motivated. And I ended up joining SGA, to the Student Government Association. And so within SGA, I moved up. I moved up from senator to secretary to now president. And so I just kept getting more and more motivated. And that to me is what EPCC means to me. I would not be here. I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for El Paso Community Colleges, all the people that helped me throughout my journey. And so I'm very grateful to be here, and I'm very excited for my future. For once in my life, I'm excited for what the next step is going to be. And so that's a little bit about my story. Like I said, it's been a roller coaster of a life. High school wasn't very good, but I really, really enjoy my time here at El Paso Community College, and I'm so excited to see what's next.
And I just appreciate the sharing of those things. Sometimes those things are very intimate details, but I think the richness of this is that when you hear somebody's story, I often say that it brings a level of vulnerability to people, that they can share their own story, and you're an integral part of everything that we do at the college, and as a person too. So I appreciate you sharing that in terms of that story. I think it makes us stronger in terms of our community, as you mentioned, a family at the community college. So thank you for that, and I'm grateful to you for that. Anything you'd like to add, Claudia?
Well, I'm very appreciative that you opened up. I was having a conversation with my sister this morning, and you know what's funny is that and this is what she mentioned. She said, for people on the outside, they never know what's happening on the inside. And I think this is one of the things that this is going to allow us to do, right? So that people actually get a little bit of what's happening on the inside. Things are not sometimes what they appear. And you'd be surprised how many people we're able to reach and help. And I think that your story will help more people than what you think, which is why I always believe that, and I told Dr. Archuleta, I told Amber this, I don't believe in coincidences. There's a reason why we're all here.
Absolutely.
Right? So this becomes a like part of the sharing that we're looking forward to do, right? Send a message to a certain point. Besides educate, I mean, we're educators, right? But it's also to give a message out there of what makes the daily life of the people that are community college, right? Our individual roller coasters or life experiences, and they're all valid. So I appreciate, and I know that Amber appreciates you sharing that. Thank you.
Yeah. No, and I'm just looking forward to the greatness that you have inside of you, Bryan. As you move forward. I mean, this isn't your only stop. You know this within you. So we're excited about you continuing to host this podcast with us,
yes,
and your own journey. And Claudia and I will, I'm sure, at some point be able to share our own personal stories about this. But I wanted to highlight Gisselle and Bryan today, but I know we'll talk about our own personal journeys. So Gisselle, first of all, you were a student of mine. You're exceptional. I always mention that you are a true superstar in every way. I'm proud of you. Of the graduation. I'm proud of you getting into nursing school. At the beginning of the podcast, you talked a little bit about your own journey as you got here with your parents and so forth. Can you piggyback on that and talk a little bit more about how you got to where you were, and a little bit about your own background? Maybe let's start where Bryan started in the high school portion.
Well, in the high school, I was living in Mexico for my whole life, since kindergarten to high school. It was very different. Out there it's the same public schools, but you don't have this opportunity maybe to even go print out some stuff for free. You have to pay, you have to buy your uniforms, and there was not a lot of technology. There were not a lot of good books to read from. So I have been a good student, because I know that's for me. The knowledge will be for me. I have 2 little brothers, and whatever I learn, I will try to teach them. So since high school, and then I got my residence, my family and I got our residence. So it was a decision: should I stay in Mexico and maybe go to medical school, just apply for university, or come to United States and then they will catch up with me here. So I decided to apply for EPCC, or not apply, to get into the ESO program, because I just learned English 3 years ago. I knew some stuff that you learn in high school in Mexico, but it's not a big deal. So it was stressing for me, starting from the bottom and saying, okay, I will spend a year just learning English, while my classmates from high school would be at college already, getting their classes, their exciting classes, engineer, nursing, medical school. Like, okay, God has plans for me, and I will wait in his plans. So I started with the ESO program. I finished it. I started with my basics, education, some biology classes, and then getting now again a decision: should I study biology and then go to medical school? I always wanted to be in the medical field, not precisely a doctor. So okay, and then I saw in the career transfer services to go to Texas Tech University here and apply for nursing school. It was another journey that I would have to go through, and then I finished all my classes. There were some hard, the sciences classes, and not all for the material, but it was at the beginning a little bit hard for me to understand what the teachers were saying, even though I was in these classes, some online classes. But it was always with this, thinking about, this is for me and my family. I'm doing this not just for me, then for my brothers, so they can see a future on them as well now that we are all here. So I'm very excited to finish in this with, as I told you, with these honors, and demonstrating that you can do it if you really want to do it without English, and then you can learn. We all can learn a lot of stuff, and then that's part of my journey here at EPCC.
And thank you for, just being the role model that you are, Gisselle. I think you captured it perfectly. Some people feel like students. I think I've been in a position where I felt like, I don't know if I'm material to go to college. Let me end in asking both of you this question. And I often ask myself this question, and Claudia and I talk a lot about this, lessons learned, life lessons. What advice, Bryan and Gisselle, I'll start with Bryan first, would you give to your younger Bryan self 2 years ago before you got to EPCC? So as you look at your younger self and the man that you are today, the student that you are, the leader that you are, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Well, I would say it will get better. Just hang on. 2 years ago, it was 2016. That's when I barely finished high school, and I didn't know what was next. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I really didn't. And at first, when I came to EPCC, I wasn't very excited about it. I remember my mom told me, you should be excited. You're going to study. You're going to go to school. But I thought, Paso Community College, it's just community college. Who cares? But I wasn't very excited about EPCC, but I'm so glad that I took the opportunities that I got. I'm so excited I took advantage of my classes. I took advantage of all the opportunities I had here, like student life, like clubs, SGA. And it really it helped me build my confidence. It helped me build my just a lot of life skills that can help anybody in their lives. And so just hang in there. It'll get better. That's what I would tell myself.
I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Gisselle, what advice would you give to your younger self 2 years ago?
2 years, maybe 2 years, 3 years ago. Just don't give up. Don't start thinking about what people think about you. Like what my friends, not my friends, my classmates from high school, don't give up. This moment that just came on Friday will come. Just be patient. Just learn as much as you can. You have a family not to prove them that you're better, but you have 2 brothers who are looking just at you. Just don't give up. And as Bryan said, things will get better.
Yes. So this will actually end our very first podcast. It went quick. I mean, you get into the richness. There's a ton of things that I wanted to ask you, but I'm hoping that this is the first of many. So thank all of you, Gisselle, for coming. I appreciate it. You could be doing a million things. Bryan, thank you for your story, but I'm looking forward to working with you on this continued podcast. And then Claudia, I appreciate you always being the rock here, and that you're across this table, because it wouldn't be the same if anybody else was across this table. So thank you to all of you, and best wishes, and have a wonderful holiday season. And this ends our very first podcast. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ann.